All right, welcome to another episode of United Roots Podcast. I hope I didn't say that too fast. I feel like I just kind of shot that shit out of my mouth real quick. My name is Rudy Martinez. I'm one half of your hosts, and this is my friend. What's your name?
Rall Rudy Elder III coming at you on this side of the continent, or the earth.
Not even on the continent, that side of the pond, man.
Yeah, I'm on another side of the pond. I always forget that.
Yeah, you are. Shit, we're in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 time zones apart. 6 time zones apart.
Yeah,
because you're in what time? What is your time? I don't even know. What is Phoenix's time zone?
Arizona Mountain.
Arizona, because you got to have your own. Mm-hmm. I'm in Central European time.
Nice.
So all I know is that it's a little after 7 p.m. here Sunday night.
And it's 10 a.m. here on Sunday morning.
Damn, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
What I realized last week when we recorded, you were a day ahead of me because you kept saying the 28th, and I was still in the 27th.
How is that possible?
I don't know.
What day do you have today? Because I have the 3rd.
Yeah, it's the 3rd.
But we recorded at the same time. Oh, no, we recorded a little later, didn't we?
We recorded later. Yep.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, you were like, it's the 60th anniversary of the I Have a Dream and da-da-da.
Yeah, it was the day after. So it was the day we released. It was the day we released the episode that it was the anniversary.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny. I was watching an interview today here on the local news on the French channel with Bernice King, the daughter, his daughter. They did an interview with her and stuff. She's really cool. She's still trying to do her dad's work. And it was really interesting to see this little French woman try to find. It was just a very obvious. You had the language barrier and the culture barrier. And to her credit, Bernice King was very patient with this little woman who was trying to interview her. But yeah, I mean, she just said the same stuff that you and I would say, that there's still a long way to go, and her dad would have been having to say a lot of the same shit because we ain't got it right yet.
Yeah, still haven't gotten it right.
But
anyway. That we haven't tried. We have tried. It's just that you get so much progress, and then meatheads come out and set us back again.
Yeah, it's a 2 steps up, 1 step back progress, both actually. Yeah. It's the only thing I can say is that the long arc of history is eventually we're gonna get there. Maybe not in your lifetime, maybe not even in your kid's lifetime, but eventually we will get there.
Yeah. Speaking of setting us back, your former governor is trying to set us back to 60 years with his policy.
I love that you kind of you checked yourself there.
I was gonna say your boy.
Your governor, fuck you.
Your boy down there in Florida.
Yeah. Your boy Ronnie.
Your boy Ronnie the Sanctimonious, as our orange friend would say.
The dumbass. So what was it you were gonna say about my pal Ronnie?
Well, for one, I love that. Well, I don't love what happened, but at his little press conference thing, he tried to gain some favor and got booed.
You're talking about after the Jacksonville shooting.
After Jacksonville,
when he came down and he was in front of a almost entirely black audience.
Yeah.
And he got booed.
Yep.
Look, go on. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna let you go.
That's all I really wanted to say. We had an auntie come and grab the mic. I think you sent me the video. She grabs the mic and she's like, "This isn't political, and if he wants to give us something, let's take it." And what I have to say to that is, fuck that.
She said more than that, but yeah, I get you.
Yeah. Fuck that. Keep your money, bruh. Because of you, because of your policies, because of the hate that you spew, this thing happened. So if I have to boo you to let you know, you're lucky they wasn't throwing tomatoes at your dumbass. That's all I'm saying.
What did you see? I think she's a representative that was behind.
Yeah, she's a state senator.
State senator. You saw that death glare that she was giving him, and I love her because afterwards she was in every news cycle there was,
Oh
saying
yeah.
he needs to understand why people are upset
Mm-hmm.
because this shit happened. I'm not saying she never said this is all his fault, but he absolutely
He added to
exacerbated
it.
the when you
Mm-hmm.
make it so that we went from having a concealed carry state and a stand your ground state to you can just open carry now. Anybody can carry their guns anywhere. And when you compound that with this whole fucking vitriol that he has made his staple of
Mm-hmm.
erasing black history and the shit that actually happened in this country that is a part of our actual fucking history, and
Yeah.
he tries to downplay it. We're talking about slavery, and we're
Yeah.
talking about erasing it, and we're talking about erasing black AP courses, and when he does all of this kind of shit, uh, this is not a surprise end result,
Yeah.
and he's made it easier for this kind of shit to happen. So
Yeah.
fuck him, fuck
Fuck
him.
him. Fuck him and fuck that money.
Now, I mean, I'm all for money though.
I'm for the listen. If it comes with having to sit and listen to his bullshit, fuck that money, dog. Keep your
Yeah,
check. We'll figure
you
it
know,
out. We've been
you
figuring it
ain't
out for years.
you and you know what the worst part about that is? That money isn't probably. I'm not saying I'm going to go back and confirm this because this happened with the hurricane and everything else. This is probably not even state money. This is probably money that came from the
Mm-hmm.
federal government that he's pounding his chest about,
Oh
saying
yeah.
I did this because he 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 does not like to help
Yeah.
people of a certain melanin.
Yeah. Or
I mean,
wealth class, to be honest.
right, right. He's a piece of shit. I just, and I'm so afraid that in 2028 he's going to become president.
You think so?
You know, I've been reading about he's planning. I mean, like he ain't gonna win. He unless Trump gets taken off of the ballot, he's not gonna win the nomination. He's just not.
I don't think he's gonna win a nomination either way because he's getting a lot of smoke from the likes of Chris Christie,
Yeah.
from even your boy Vivek is giving him smoke. So
Okay.
I don't.
Listen, motherfucker. Listen, motherfucker. Okay. If one of these boys is my boys, then the other motherfucker is your boy.
Which
All right.
motherfucker?
You can have Vivek. He's
Oh
your
man,
fucking boy. No, he's
that's not
yours.
my boy.
No, if I got to take Ronnie, you get Vivek all day and twice on fucking Wednesday. He is your boy.
We'll talk about Vivek too, but fuck that guy too.
No, but I think Ronnie is he can see the writing on the wall, and I think
Hmm.
what he's trying to do is get himself geared up for 28.
Yeah, he's losing a lot of support with independents. With of course, black voters are done with him for the
Not
most
all of
part.
them.
Not all of them. You got a
You'll
bunch of
always have
stragglers.
you will always have those black and brown voters who are going to be okay with a racist fuck because they think it doesn't apply to them.
Oh, you mean black people and brown people that hate themselves?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. But shout out also, speaking of Jacksonville, after we recorded last week, I read an article that stated that this gunman had actually tried to get onto the campus of the HBCU that was across the street
Yeah.
from the Dollar General, and security actually turned him away because he wouldn't identify himself. So thank God for people that were actually in a place where they could stop this guy because it could have been, and rest in peace to the three individuals that died, but it could have been way worse if he had gotten on that campus.
And the thing is, it didn't have to be that bad at all
Right.
because the laws are that he was perfectly within his rights to go wandering around with all the guns. So even calling the police, they're like, "There's nothing we can do about it
Right.
because he's not breaking the law until he kills somebody."
Well, technically, he would
Fuck
have been
that.
breaking. If he had his weapons on the campus, he would have been breaking the law.
Okay, would he have?
I
Because I
believe so.
know. Are you sure?
Like
Because I'm
out
not sure about
here
that. Let's double check. Because I know in Texas you can carry your fucking guns on campus,
in Arizona, you cannot.
but
We're an
but
open carry state.
Florida's more like Texas than it is Arizona.
I feel like
Florida,
Texas, you
I
can't.
feel
I
I
feel
feel
like
like
Texas, you can't bring your weapons on a school campus.
I feel like Florida and Texas, you can definitely take your weapons with you onto campus. But I feel like Florida and Texas and Arizona, those three states especially, are trying to out fucking dumb fuck themselves. Like, you know, oh, you have stand your ground. Oh, well, we're gonna have open carry. Oh, you have open carry. We're gonna have open carry everywhere, including fucking campuses. Because I remember a couple years ago when Texas passed the law, uh,
Uh-huh.
professors were like, "We can't teach with this kind of shit. This is not something that's going to work for us. It's not conducive to a safe work environment." But Texas doesn't give a shit. You checking?
So yeah, so in Texas, you're allowed to carry on campus, but you have to have a
Yep.
license.
Mm, that's going to stop someone, isn't it?
Right.
But yeah. So I think really the gun laws are as lax as they are. I think you're going to be hard pressed for security to call the police and say there's a guy here that's got an open carry, which is perfectly legal in the state, but it's not legal on our campus. So can you please come and arrest him? They're just going to laugh at you.
Yeah.
They're just going to tell
Well,
you to fuck off, especially, and let's be brutally honest here, especially a fucking historically black college.
yeah. Now, my wonder is if it, they're saying campus security, but I wonder if the campus has its own police department and he saw that they were armed and he left.
Well, no, they talked to him. There was an actual interaction.
That's what I mean, though. But I'm wondering when they spoke to him
If
if they
that's when
were
he
armed.
left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good question. That's, yeah. But this shit shouldn't happen. Fucking period.
Agreed.
Anyway. So last week's episode, I just want to say this. Like, I
Uh huh.
listened to it because I have to do the one, I'm the editor and all that shit.
Yep.
Fucking, I wanted to burn the whole damn episode and be like, yeah, we'll just skip this week.
Why? What happened?
Because I didn't like the way I sounded. I sounded like I
You
used to.
never
Like,
liked the
oh,
way you sound.
no, it's not the sound of my voice, which I don't like. It's that I just was like, Jesus Christ, I'm a downer again. I mean, granted, like it had been a shitty week, and there's like only so much you can fucking make fun of it. But you know, I'm like, dude,
That's
I'm a
okay.
bummer.
We're always gonna have our eves and flows, right? But we're figuring this out. This is episode 3.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
This is episode 3. Uh, your boy Prigozhin. Have you seen that,
He did,
bruh? I was
dude.
surprised it took so
I
long.
wasn't. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, I thought you were gonna say I was surprised it. No, I was surprised it took so long too.
Yeah,
But you know what? I got to give it to Putin for style points.
yeah. Because
Because
normally
you
it's a
know
poison.
what? It's a poison or falling out of a fucking window. You're
Yeah.
like, oops, we don't know what happened. He just tripped and fell. No,
Eh,
this time it was like, man,
let's change it up a little bit.
like
Let's
fuck
change
it
it
and
up.
take. You know what? Fuck that pilot too, and fuck all those other people on the plane. Fuck it,
Yeah.
kill them all.
Wow. He, yo. You think they shot it out of the sky, or you think
Yes,
there's a thing where they
no,
killed him and then flew
I
the
think they
plane
shot
up?
it out of the sky. I have no
Yeah.
doubt they shot it out of the sky.
Crazy.
But
Crazy.
I do
Crazy.
know because I know even the Russian news is like, yeah, there's reports of explosions on the plane.
Yeah.
So
They were saying
yes,
explosions on the
there's a
plane. They said,
possibility, but I think that they just shot that fucker out the plane. I mean,
yeah,
out of the sky.
they were saying explosions on the plane. They were saying a piece of the tail fin was missing, which sent it into a spiral,
Yep,
which means
that's what
somebody
makes me
probably,
think that it shot it. Yeah,
yeah,
yep. I mean, but dude, how dumb do you have to be to get on a plane in Russia when you just tried to overthrow the government?
pretty dumb.
Like you know that Putin doesn't play. And if you
Hmm.
were if you have him by the throat and you let him up, he's not going to thank you for it and be
Yeah.
gracious. He's going to come at you harder. I mean, it's like, dude. So
Yeah.
I mean, on the one hand, it's like shitty, I guess, because
I mean,
it's an assassination. But on the other hand,
it's
it's
an
like,
assassination,
but
but
you
at
have
the
two
same
shitty
time,
people doing shitty things to each other, and maybe the slightly less shitty one is no longer around. But I mean, do you
but
really
he's
feel
pretty
bad?
shitty too, though. Like, I mean, look at
Right.
all the shit that they were doing in
In Ukraine,
Syria
in
and
Syria, in Africa.
Africa
Yes.
and friggin' to the Chechens, all that shit.
Yeah.
So, fuck him.
Fuck him.
Yeah. Fuck him. And then I guess his top general or whatever for Wagner
Yeah.
or Wagner, however you want to say it, was on the plane as well. And
Yep.
this guy, fuck him too. He was
Fuck
a
him.
huge Nazi,
Yeah.
Nazi tattoos and all
That
kinds of
that's
shit.
why I say Wagner, because that's what it reminds me. It takes me back to Nazi Germany, and yeah,
Yeah, well, that was his call
and that
sign.
sounds
That
very
was this
German.
guy's call sign,
What was?
Wagner. That's why they named it
Wow.
that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, fuck them all. I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel bad for I don't feel bad for the Wagner soldiers that are being sucked into the Russian army. I don't feel bad for the prisoners that have to go back to prison. Fuck them all.
Fuck them all. The only thing I feel bad about is that the Ukrainians didn't get a chance to shoot the plane out the sky.
I think give them enough time, they'll get Putin. I'm hoping.
Yeah. Well, they just got a bunch of F-16s last week, so.
They did, and did you see it? And without F-16s, they're fucking making their own drones,
Hmm.
sending so many of them into Russia and they're taking out big fucking cargo planes, fighter jets, and shit. And they've ruined a couple of tarmacs and
Yep.
stuff. And they just came up and created their own. I think it's an ICBM. It may not be quite that big. It may be smaller, but they've come up with their own missile now.
Yeah.
And the only thing that we've asked of them is, listen, yo, if we give you stuff, don't use our stuff
Into Russia.
to
Yeah.
go into Russia, but just our stuff. We're not saying to use your stuff, but we're not saying not to use your stuff either.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited. Well, I'm not excited, but
Right.
I'm interested to see what happens once those F-16s get in the sky, because
Yeah.
there's you know how
It's been
how
one-sided.
well, it's been one sided, but F-16s have been upgraded. They're
Yes.
constantly being upgraded, right?
Yes.
And when
Yeah.
they first came out, we couldn't handle MiG-29s,
Right.
but with these new upgrades,
Yep.
we can. And I was a crew chief on F-16, so I know a little bit about the jet. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but we couldn't handle MiG-29s if we were going slower than 325 knots, right?
Right.
But now
So
with all these upgrades,
for the simpletons among us, what is a knot?
it's a knot is actually used in naval speed for like how fast you're going.
Which isn't 1 nautical mile 6 miles an hour?
6 miles an hour, yeah,
Right. So
yeah,
when you say 300 miles or 300 nautical miles an hour, you're actually talking about 900 miles an hour.
correct.
And that's still too slow to handle a MiG-29, is what you're saying.
You had to be going 325 knots in order to handle a MiG-29, because the MiG-29 couldn't handle the sharp turns that an F-16 could at that speed.
Wow.
Yeah,
So you're going almost 1,000 miles an hour,
correct.
and that's insane.
Yeah. So now, though, with all these upgrades, and the MiG-29, as we know, with Russia, has not been upgraded since the Cold War.
Right.
And with all our avionics and all of our satellites and our training, that we're constantly training our pilots.
So real question then, because it's one thing for our pilots are constantly training. They're never not training
they're never
unless
not
they're
training.
actually on a deployment. So
Correct.
how we're taking pilots that I have no doubt are skilled pilots in the Ukrainian Air Force, but how quickly do you think we can get them up to speed on actually flying our F-16s?
From what I understand, they've already been training.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, from what I
So
understand,
they just been waiting for delivery?
they've been waiting for delivery.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm glad you pointed that out, boss. Because I
Yeah,
honestly didn't know that.
From what I understand, they've been training at least since November, December.
Okay.
Yeah.
You think, and it's not just us, right? We're not the only ones giving them. Poland,
Polish.
if I'm not mistaken, and isn't there another country or two?
I believe it's Poland and
Because I know it's not France, because they have their own pilots or
maybe
airplanes.
Turkey.
They don't need. I think you're right. I think you might be right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have to double check that.
And then I read an article of a Polish pilot who flew the MiG-29 and the F-16, the upgraded version of the F-16, and the MiG-29s that they got from way back when.
Right.
And he's flown them both for at least 5 years each, and he said the F-16 blows that plane out of the water.
It's amazing, right? The F-16 is how old now? It's like almost 30 years old.
It's older than that.
No, it's older than that because we had it in the first Gulf War. So it's at least almost. It's got to be damn near close to 40 years old.
Yeah.
God,
but it's constantly upgraded.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing about an F-16, and it's the smallest thing, but it's the biggest thing that helps pilots, is that you sit up high in the cockpit, and it's a bubble cockpit, so you can look behind you.
Yeah.
MiG-29s don't have that.
Fuck. I mean, look, it's amazing to me because I know living in where we had at Tyndall Air Force Base, they were working on upgrades to make them unmanned even,
Mm,
which that would be fucking
deadly.
insane. It
Yeah.
would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I mean, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about. We had one when we first moved there. Uh, I was on the beach, which was, right across the street from our house. And
Hmm.
there was a couple of medevac choppers that were literally flying on the water side right at like power line level.
Yeah.
And I found out that night when Samantha came home that there was a retired O6 who had been. So what they do is while they work on this with these F-16s, they have a pilot in there for backup
Yeah.
to, while they, he couldn't get control back and he
Damn.
died. And this was December of, I want to say when we got there in 12. I think that was when it was. Yeah.
Damn.
Yep.
Well, rest in peace to him.
So yeah, these upgrades, they come at a cost. I mean, not just financially. These are
Yeah.
there are still always having to be test pilots that have to get in these bad boys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm optimistic, guarded, that Ukraine can turn this around. I think a lot of smarter military minds than mine have said ad nauseum that the counteroffensive is going slower than they had anticipated.
Yeah.
But dude, it's
Well,
when when
a lot of their best troops, like during the winter months, they sent a lot of the guys that was on the front line to the back to train more,
right.
right? So
But I also
I feel like
think
they're still getting up to speed.
I think though that there's also something to be said if you go in, if I'm invading your country and you're not prepared for it,
Hmm.
and then I get a foothold in this village or this city or this territory. Now there's history after history after history has shown the scorched earth retreat. And that's what Russia's doing. They're
Yeah.
throwing down landmines. They're doing everything they can so that when they go out, cool, you're not fighting us anymore, but you still have to get
Yeah.
through this literal minefield.
Hmm.
And so, I think people have to be patient. Um, but yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing to see here in Europe too.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not sure where it stands as far as with Ukraine joining NATO. Um, you might have more insight on that, but I feel like if that happens,
It's
then
not going to happen before the war is over
right.
for purely selfish, pragmatic reasons. And I'm not saying that these reasons are right. But if they are in NATO right now, well, they're a member state is
Yeah.
invaded. We all have to, and we
Hmm.
don't we don't want to do that. And for better or worse, that's what's going to keep them from joining NATO before the war's end.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. I don't think Russia wants to deal with F-22s or F-35s anyway.
I don't think they want to deal
They,
with F-16s. I
they're
think
gonna, they're
let's be
about to
brutally
have to.
let's be brutally honest here. Uh, Putin thought that this thing was going to be over by now.
Well, he thought it was
He
going to take 3 days.
right. He thought it was going to be a blitzkrieg. He thought
Yeah.
they'd just go in and just like they did with Crimea and fuck it all up, and then
Hmm.
boop, this is ours now. And they did not expect the Ukrainian resolve to be what it is. I don't
Yeah.
think they expected the world, and I thank God, even though I don't believe in him, I thank God that this did not happen in 2020 or 2019
Hmm.
because then Ukraine would have been fucked
Yeah, they would
because
have had no
Donald Trump would have
support.
been slobbering all over Putin's balls.
Well, yeah. We had a
And,
little orange prostitute on over here at that
yeah,
time.
he did. I mean, he owned our president for 4 years, and people don't
Yeah.
like to acknowledge that. That's sad, isn't it? How does that make you feel as a veteran, as a man who swore an oath to defend and uphold the Constitution of the United States? How did his presidency make you feel just from that standpoint?
From that standpoint, I felt like I was getting kicked in the nuts every time I saw him standing behind that podium.
Yeah,
That's how I felt.
110%.
And honestly, this is just a belief I have. I feel like you shouldn't be president if you didn't serve at least 4 years.
I think I won't go that far. I think I appreciate it more if you have.
Exactly.
But I also think we have had bad presidents that have served.
I don't disagree with that, but I also feel like
I think that, so see, to me, not to interrupt you, I look
mhm,
at somebody like Barack Obama who didn't serve, and I compare him to somebody who did serve, like his predecessor, right?
mhm,
George W.
yeah,
Okay, but even though Barack Obama did not serve in the military, he served the American people by
he served
serving
the
his
people.
community. You know what I
Agreed.
mean? And so I
And
would not discount that. And I'm not saying that that made him a better president or George W. Bush a worse president. I'm saying that those things, to me, as far as service go, are on par. Because if you're serving we the people, you're serving we the people. I don't care where that is.
I can agree with that. I feel like you are more likely if you've served in the military, you're more likely to think about sending other people's kids to be killed before you do it.
I think that's only true if you've ever been on a deployment.
Well, George W. Bush aside,
Right. Because you look at the last, in my opinion, the last truly great Republican president was Dwight Eisenhower. And he was
agreed.
the most, I mean, he beat the drum over and over and over again that we need to not be pouring all of our money into the military
Into the
complex.
military, yeah.
And it's like it's, and I think I believe wholeheartedly it's because of what you just said.
Hmm.
He's seen
He saw
boys
war.
go off and die, and he
Hmm.
saw what it did, and he just didn't want to make that our primary focus as a country. And I think
Well, let's
that
be honest though. Since Dwight D. Eisenhower, we haven't had a true Republican president since then.
I won't go that far. I will
I
say
would.
I will say that we haven't had a really truly great Republican president. And I'm going to say this. This is going to be unpopular and you're going to disagree with me,
I'm probably going to
but
disagree.
Richard Nixon, as
Ooh.
he was a racist fuck,
Hmm.
he tapped into that before anybody else did. Well, not before anybody else did, but he
George
he
Wallace.
really did tap into that.
Very true.
But as far as being a president, as far as having diplomacy, uh, he was really good at it.
Well, he was a
So
he was.
I think when you say he was the last good Republican president, how are you measuring that? Because to
I'm
me,
measuring that on not being a dick,
well,
and
fuck, they're
also
all dicks.
and also standing by his policies. He stood by
Nixon
his
did that.
policies. Nixon, yeah, but he also started the war on drugs. So
George W. Bush did that. Reagan
I
did that.
don't dislike George
Bush
W.
the
Bush,
first did
honestly.
that. I
I
mean,
don't dis.
but I'm saying all of them meet your measure of what's a good president because they all stood by what they believed, whether it was
Right,
wrong
but
or not. They stood by it. Even Trump
they
did that.
well, okay. I'm talking about they stood by what actual Republican policies were. Trump didn't do that.
No, no,
Bush
you're
barely Bush Bush barely did that.
no. I disagree. Tax cuts
He
are a big part of the Republican Party platform.
I don't know if I agree wholeheartedly with that. But
I mean, I and also, and then since we're going to sit here and talk politics about the Republican Party specifically, Eisenhower wasn't truly a Republican. I mean, the Republican Party and the Democratic Party switched
in the 60s.
ideologies in the
Yeah.
'60s, right? I mean, let's be honest here. What president, by today's metric, right, of what constitutes a rhino, Republican in name only,
Hmm.
what president in our lifetime or even before our lifetime would qualify as a Republican? None of them.
None of
Literally
them.
none of
Yeah.
them.
None of them. Yeah.
You
You're
know,
right.
I mean, you'd have to go back to Rutherford Hayes, and he wasn't a Republican. I don't think
I don't even know
so.
what the fuck that is.
If memory serves, he was the one who. Uh, God damn it! I just went blank, and I'm thinking of Atlanta Reconstruction,
Ah,
and I'll post about it. We'll talk about that one next week because I don't want to get that one wrong.
okay.
But I think that was the last one
Speaking
that had anything that was remotely Republican-y, and he was not a Republican.
speaking of Republicans,
No. Why? Why? I don't want to. Why?
this one's gonna make you laugh.
All right.
Well, maybe.
All right.
Your boy, because you try to put him on me.
He is
Vivek
yours. He is your boy.
Ramaswamy.
He is
That
your
is not my
boy.
boy, bro.
That is your boy.
Nah.
Yeah.
Eminem was like, "Hey, bruh, I need you to stop using my music, bitch."
Yep. Which I love.
Cease and desist.
Has there ever been
Use
a Republican in our lifetime that's used a song that didn't get like, please don't, please don't?
your the orange. I can't think of a nickname for him right now. That orange guy,
Cheetolini, yeah,
Cheetolini. Yeah, he uses YMCA on the regular. I don't know why.
because he's a homosexual. Because that's an anthem for the homosexuals. I know this
It
because
is.
I own that album on vinyl, and I got it. I inherited it from my very gay uncle Charlie, who he's the one who taught me the whole. So
Shout out Uncle Charlie, baby.
shout out Uncle Charlie. So I can say this. I'm not being a homophobe when I say that is a gay anthem because it's a gay anthem, and you know I don't think there's anything gay about wanting to bang your daughter like Donald Trump wants to do. So
It's some. It's not gay, but it's something.
it's icky.
Yeah. Uh,
No, but Eminem, shit. Go on. I'm sorry. I stole your
no,
thunder.
I was just bringing up the topic. Eminem has always made it a point to own people that use his music and he doesn't agree with their policies. Even your boy Trump, Cheetolini, Mr. Vivek.
First of all,
Yeah, I'm gonna call him all your
I,
boy.
I'm a Parisian, so he ain't my boy. He's your boy.
Ah,
You're an American. He's your boy.
you ain't naturalized yet.
That don't matter. I'm here. Everyone considers me a Frenchman. I'm a Frenchman
Uh,
now.
you look French as fuck, bro.
That's what. Thank you.
If for those of you that are listening, he's got his shirt unbuttoned down to the fourth button, his freaking taco meat hanging out. I can't
Oh,
hear
I,
you
I
anymore.
had my microphone off. I
I
was
was like, I
muted so you
can't
could
hear you.
talk. I'm like, but it's only if you count them. There's only three. There's one, two, three, and that's including the collar button, which nobody counts the collar button.
No
So
one
it's
counts
just
the
two
collar button.
buttons. So it's two
Yeah,
buttons.
he's leaning back in his chair. He's got freaking all types of exotic alcohols behind him on his glass shelf, looking very French right now.
Sexy as fuck. Don't hate.
And yeah, so you do look sexy. I'm
You
gonna
should
say
watch.
that.
Really, honestly, if you're listening to this and you want to get the visual, just go to the YouTube channel. Fast forward to about the 31st minute and 32nd minute, and you'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like a younger version of the most interesting man in the world.
See, I thank you. You're saying nice things to me after you had said so
Yeah,
many bad things about me.
I'm always
Calling
gonna, I'm
Donald
always
Trump's my
gonna,
boy, Vivek's my
I gotta
boy,
put a little
Ronnie's my
icing.
boy.
I'm gonna put a little icing on it after I insult you.
Man, these boys ain't my boys. In fact, you know what? They're America's problem now. They're not mine.
Fuck.
They won't become France's problem again until they get elected again. And it's a really interesting thought because there are people who that's the conversation they have here. Like, what are we going to do if Trump gets
If these,
reelected?
yeah, that's gonna be bad.
It's gonna, yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, your boy got indicted again.
Which boy now?
Trump. Oh well, he didn't get indicted again. He pled not guilty, and
Oh, DJ,
I was I
DJT.
was yeah, dirty, dirty. I'll think of something for him.
Yeah,
I'm off him this morning.
yeah, you are.
Uh, I'm mad at myself because I was going to the restroom every morning. I check the news before I get ready. Going to the restroom and I read the news and it says Donald Trump. No, this is what I read. This is what it said. Donald Trump pleads guilty, and I'm like, fuck yeah,
Oh, your brain did that little thing where it
yeah,
sees the.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Then I sit down and I'm reading it and it says Donald Trump pleads not guilty. And it's like, you motherfucking fuck. Why would you
that's
even
your
think he would? Why would
that's
you
your
even think he
brain being
would
an
plead guilty?
asshole.
Yeah, my brain's
Yeah,
being an asshole.
because your brain's trying to give you what your heart wants.
Yeah, that's what it
That's
is.
all. That's
That's what
all,
it is.
dude. I.
Um,
What do you think? Okay, so let's say the fucker gets convicted,
mhm.
right? Now, personally, prison, in my opinion, is far too good for any of the people who took part in January 6th, including Donald J. Trump. Um, but what do you think the real? I mean, because from a practical standpoint, how likely do you? I mean, because you're gonna have to get the Secret Service in there with him.
Hmm.
Or do they just say, you know what, you're a felon now, you're no longer entitled, we out, or what?
That was going to be my question. Does he lose the right to the Secret Service once he's convicted as a felon?
That's I don't know, right? Because that's a
Hmm.
question. Because what are you going to do? You're going to make these guys go to prison?
That'd be a nice gig, though.
How do you figure?
As a Secret Service agent, and the president or the ex-president is locked up, you just
Yeah,
go sit in a room and watch a camera all day.
you don't think there would be one posted with him? Because I do.
Fuck
I think
no.
you don't think so.
No, he's not going to be in Gen Pop. He's going to be
In
in
solitary?
fucking
I mean, they're not
solitary.
going to put him in solitary. That's like a shoebox.
No, not solitary. There's another one. It's like protective custody. They're going to put him in protective
Oh,
custody.
okay. Well, that sucks
And
because my fantasies of him getting shanked are just going out the window now. Thanks for killing that. You're killing my
yeah,
dreams.
unless the Secret Service does it.
They fucking love him. Some of them were conspiring with him, which is
Oh, I'm
just,
sure.
yeah. This
Oh,
whole
I'm sure.
thing, you know, I will say this. I know that some of them are being brought up on sedition. To me, all of them are fucking traitors. It may not rise to the level of the law, the letter of the law, but to me, they're all traitors. And to me, there's only one answer. There's one punishment for traitors. But
Fire
they
and
are very
sword.
fortunate that they don't rise to that level. But I have
Mm-hmm.
no use for them anymore. I don't have
Yeah.
any. You know, everybody was talking about the guy that got 17 years the other day. That's not long enough because I don't want
Yeah.
him coming back to my country. Fuck him. Deport him to somewhere else.
Send him to Guantanamo.
That's
That's where
fine with
traitors
me.
should go.
I agree.
Um,
Fuck them.
Fuck all of them. And I guess
Yeah.
your Pope has had enough of that shit too.
Dude. And I have a lot of Catholic family members. I'm afraid to ask them, like, because they love Trump and they're very Catholic, and it's like, what do you do now? But I know a lot of
You
Catholics who don't like this Pope either, because he's, you know,
liberal?
yeah, I guess so.
But
You
you
know,
figure Jesus was liberal too, so how you call yourself a Christian or Catholic,
not their Jesus, not their
but
version
you're
of
an asshole?
Jesus.
Yeah, but according to them, your Jesus has blonde hair and blue eyes too.
Right? Yeah.
So
Yeah. But no, dude,
there's
I
that.
you know this. I don't get too excited about religious leaders who do the right thing or say the right thing. Uh, but I'm glad because
Yeah.
if this affects even just a handful of would be Trump voters,
Hmm.
that can make the difference.
Yeah. Well, even when they first elected him, there was this guy in South Carolina, I think it was, and I could be wrong, and he was like, "If you're a Christian, don't vote for Trump," and they kicked him
Yep,
out the church.
yep. And I don't understand it because there's nothing about him that's remotely Christ-like. I've studied the
Nothing.
Bible.
Right.
I'm assuming I know you're a Muslim,
Yep.
but I'm gonna guess that at some point because your parents are Christian, that you.
My dad's Muslim, but
Oh, okay. I
the
thought you're.
yeah, any good Muslim is supposed to read the Bible because they coincide.
Yeah. And so Jesus was like, yeah, the poor, take care of them. The
Hmm.
sick, look out for them. Yeah, you see how I'm feeding everybody and I'm not making them piss in a cup? Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
And it's like you these fucking people.
Also, for Christians, just so you know, Jesus' name appears more in the Quran than it does in the Bible.
Does it really?
It does.
Wow. Did you know both of those books were written like way after either of their fucking supposed prophets were alive?
Yes.
And did you know that further know that especially Jesus, but both of them are amalgamations of religions that existed for thousands of years before those.
Zoroastrianism. Yes.
Yeah, even before that, even others. There are
Hmm.
multiple religions that existed before Christianity, for example, that have a uh, 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 virgin birth,
Hmm.
or a resurrection, or a betrayal, or blah 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 blah. But
Yeah.
anyway, but I don't want to shit on your religion or anyone else's. You do
It's
you.
not. We're just
Just
having a
if you're gonna
discussion.
do it, fucking do the parts that are not assholey. Don't
Yeah.
use your faith as a reason to shit on
Be a
people.
dick.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's all we
because it's like,
ask.
right? It's like
Yeah.
the nicest Christian I've ever met. I will never forget her. I used to work with her when I worked for National Geographic. I didn't know she was like she wasn't one of those people that told you she was a Christian. And if
Mm-hmm.
you'd have met her, you would have thought, oh, she's just a crunchy granola hippie California girl.
Mm-hmm.
Except that she wore a very simple cross.
Mm-hmm.
But everything that she did made me feel like this is the closest to any human being that I've ever met who is actually trying to be Christ-like. I mean,
Yeah.
Christian literally means Christ-like,
To
and
be
and I
Christ-like.
didn't
Yeah.
know she was a Christian, right? I was raised in church. I had considered entering the seminary, and I always kind of take a note of that about people.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember being blown away by how kind and compassionate and how just a beautiful human being she was. And then it was somebody who said something, because you know how my mouth is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, don't be that way around Gina because she's a really, really, really big Christian. And I'm like, I fucking knew it. I knew there was something wrong with her. Anyway,
Not that there's anything wrong with being a Christian,
no,
but
I was kidding. She was just, it was like she was my brain had honestly thought this woman is so incredibly like the Jesus I've read about and studied
yeah,
and learned. And if everybody was like her, this world would be amazing.
we need
So
more of
anyway,
that.
yeah, we do. Less like me and more like that.
I think you're a pretty cool guy.
I try.
You
I
take care of
try.
me anyway.
Yeah. But I like you.
Um,
I don't like most
Thanks.
people. So,
That's true. That is
you
true.
know. Although this whole shit with my boy, I'm starting to think.
Sorry, that's just a black thing, dog.
No,
That's
it's
like
not.
if somebody pisses me off at work and I go up to my homeboy and I'm like, "Hey, your boy fucking this guy. He's
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, man.
uh
White people do it. Brown people
this
do it. Even
your
Asian. I've
boy."
known Asian people who do that. Yeah, that's your boy.
They stole that from us.
Did they though?
Yeah, we started that.
Sarcasm is kind of universal.
Sarcasm is, but your boy is not.
Mm, mm.
I mean, it might be now because everybody took our shit, but
Did they?
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do some research on that now. I'm gonna find out, and I'm gonna laugh my ass off if I find out that black
Yes.
culture stole that from some
This
white guy in Poughkeepsie
from the
somewhere.
Greeks.
Yeah, from the Greeks. And instead of it being your boy, it was like they used to say back in the day. It was like, "This is your fellow." Some white ass shit, and you guys took it and is like, "Oh wow, we did steal that." Because I have this theory, I have this belief, this like wholehearted belief. I
What's the
learned this
belief?
and it really kind of became solidified for me when I was doing comedy. People think that other people are stealing jokes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But something happens in the world, and how many like who just died? Bob Barker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rest in peace. Everybody, like the second he died, everybody, independent of one another, all made the same stupid fucking joke.
It's
He
true.
dies at 99. Oh, he got as close to 100 as you could without going over. Everybody made that fucking joke.
I didn't make that joke.
Thank you. But it's like groupthink is the real thing, you
Yeah.
know? And I think that people really do have this way of, we have this way of having similar thoughts, just like we have similar hopes and similar fears. And they come out. And so everybody's trying to take credit for it. And the reality is probably closer to somebody else probably just thought the same shit that you did because you're not so fucking special. You're just
No,
not.
we're black people special, bro.
Well, black people are special. I'm talking about you, Rall Linwood Elder the
Listen,
third. You just ain't so special. Fuck,
I
there's
am
three of
special.
you.
Actually, there's 4.
There's see?
That's what makes us special. Shit.
Anyway, all right. We've been going at this for a minute.
Yeah, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
What else? I don't have
I'm gonna
anything to talk
I'm
about.
gonna let you leave it. Go ahead. You finish this
All right.
off.
Well, thank you for listening to the United Roots podcast. We appreciate you guys hanging in there with us. If we said anything that you don't agree with or that was wrong, then we don't care because this is us just babbling to each other. So
I don't think that's not true entirely. If we've said something that's offended you, we don't care. If we've
no,
said something that is factually incorrect, I at least
we're,
care. Hook me
we
up. Let me
care.
know what the truth is.
We'll correct it. But if you don't agree with us, we don't give a shit.
Correct.
But we are doing this podcast to let people know that no matter where you come from, we are all from the same place, and we stand united because that's where our roots lie.
That's right.
Together. And yeah, we are signing off. Raw from the United States.
Rudy from Paris.
Fucking Paris.
I love you, brother.
Love you too, bro.